You know, I look at 2025, and I actually get depressed. Watching all the pro wrestling that we watch, looking at all the things that happened this year, I look back at this year and I don't look back at it very kindly. In fact, when the year's over, I'm going to be happy it's over because I didn't really like much of anything this year. Every single promotion you watch has a problem. Big ones. WWE and their corporate side, lack of storytelling, commercial after commercial and advertisement after advertisements. Triple H lying through his fucking asshole every single week and then blaming the media for our criticisms of the WWE product because we're not allowed to have an opinion because we're not in the business. They got problems. And largely their television this year has been awful. You look at AEW. Absolutely clueless. A sinking ship. Bigger than anything I've ever seen. Money matches, random matches where I'm told that there's story, but there really isn't anything to care about. It's where the best wrestle, though. It's all they care about. It's all they care about. A myriad and plethora of titles that don't mean anything. Attendance, live gate, and ratings that have fucking sunk so low that it is absolutely irreparable. And then you look at LOL TNA and their recent actions. You can add these to the list. Mike Santana loses the TNA World Championship after 32 days on his only TNA TV appearance to Frankie Kazarian. This is after they opted not to give him the championship at the UBS Arena on Long Island in New York, where the man is born and raised. But what the fuck do I know? I don't book TNA. Yes, they took the TNA World Championship off of Mike Santana already after 32 days and not one single defense. Then they opt to take the title off him, turn it into a storyline, have the story reach the media, and TNA reps and TNA officials reaching out to media, pretending that Mike Santana did not return their calls, walked out on the company, all to sell some extra tickets and generate some interest for their recent TV tapings at NXT Black and Gold's old stomping grounds at Full Sail University. Meanwhile, none of it was true, and it was all a work. So they tried to take something that happened with him losing the championship, turn it into a story, and play it off as if it was real, but everybody knew it was not a legit situation. And then they, on top of that, booted one of their journalists, someone who has covered TNA for many, many years, booted this journalist out of Full Sail University with the mistake of thinking he was filming their TV tapings and posting them on social media well ahead of their air date on Access TV. LOL TNA. Pro wrestling in 2025 sucks. But you know what? TNA's got a new TV deal coming up in the next 6 weeks. Where are they going to land? How much is it going to be for? I mean, all of this happening before that seems not like a good idea, right? We're going to go over that today on Off the Script. It is your Monday, November 17th, 2025. Mike Santana won the TNA World Championship at Bound for Glory. He beat Trick Williams. I actually paid for the show because I paid to see that man win the World Championship. Huge Mike Santana fan. It's one of the guys that I look up to and I genuinely have a fandom of just because of his journey. And it also helps that he was brought into House of Glory, given the World Championship, and to cover that man's trajectory and journey for the time that I was there was a tremendous blessing. So that's number one. Great pro wrestler. It is very difficult to find someone with the work ethic of Mike Santana, and the man deserved it. And we all know that TNA isn't his last stop. He has aspirations to be world champion in WWE, world heavyweight champion, WWE champion. He'll be at a WrestleMania someday. That's the goal. I know that's the goal, and it should be the goal. He won the world championship At Bound for Glory from Trick Williams, I paid to see it. It was great. They botched it, but it was great. He made 0 title defenses. He held it for 32 days, and his only TV appearance was in a match against Frankie Kazarian, and he lost the TNA Championship on this past Thursday's episode of TNA Impact. Frankie Kazarian is now the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Now, he was attacked before he could reach the ringside area during this match. Then we saw Robert Stone of NXT leading an NXT invasion with a number of developmental stars who all attacked Santana. The NXT crew left after inflicting the damage that they wanted on Santana, leaving the door open for Frankie Kazarian to cash in his Call Your Shot trophy. Mike Santana tried to fight, but the injuries inflicted by the NXT talents proved too much in the end. Frankie Kazarian won the match with a roll-up after the champion failed to deliver his discus lariat, spin the block, on Frankie Kazarian. Everybody was shocked. It went viral on social media. People tweeting, what the fuck? LOL TNA. Why? Why? I don't get it. So the surprising end after they had him beat Trick Williams at Bound for Glory with the championship on the line there. He won the championship, and this being his first title defense, why they took it off of him when he made 0 defenses before this? I don't get it. Now, we don't know what happens to Mike Santana after this, but apparently the following day's tapings, in the afternoon and early morning on the next day, there was a rumor that went around that the call time for the show the following day was 1 p.m. Multiple sources noted that Mike Santana was absent and he didn't make the talent call time at all. So the report went on to say that he had not responded to calls or text messages and was ignoring the company because of what happened the night before with Frankie Kazarian. It was then later reported that all of this was a work. Apparently, TNA played into the no-show aspect of the rumors. Santana was booked for a tag team match the same night where supposedly he ignored TNA. He was nowhere to be found throughout the afternoon and throughout the evening. The main event arrived. Santana still wasn't there for the match. Steve Maclin, his tag team partner, had to wrestle solo against Frankie Kazarian and Nick Nemeth. Maclin put up a tough fight to start. However, the numbers were too much. This led to Santana making a dramatic entrance to the arena at Full Sail University, ready to fight alongside Steve Maclin. In a callback to the World Championship match just a night earlier, Santana and Kazarian replayed the finish with a twist. This time, Santana pushed through the pain of his injured arm due to the NXT attack to hit Kazarian with spin the block, the lariat, to win the match. They were all rumors, and they were debunked. Santana's absence was all a part of a storyline. Now, that was only part of the larger NXT storyline. Throughout the evening, Santino and Ava bulked up security to prevent any more chaos. Santino even went to Costco to purchase security cameras, but he hasn't set them up yet. Also a part of the story is Nick Nemeth, who was plotting to cash in his Call Your Shot trophy on Kazarian, because if you guys remember, the Battle Royal was won by both Nick Nemeth and Frankie Kazarian at Bound for Glory. After the main event, Kaz was down from Santana's finisher. Nemeth decided to make his move. Before Nemeth could officially get the match to start, the NXT crew crashed the party. Robert Stone, Lexis King, Charlie Dempsey, High Rise, Stax, and Brooks Jensen showed absolutely no mercy for Nemeth, Santana, and Maclin. Another angle was if Kazarian was actually in cahoots with NXT, well, they ended up beating Kazarian down as well. The Hardys came out with chairs. They did not succeed in their efforts. Santino wasn't safe as he argued with his son-in-law Stax. Jensen trucked from behind, and all of this is now an ongoing story for TNA. NXT is infiltrating the Impact Zone at Full Sail University, their old stomping grounds. Nobody knows what's going on there. I don't really understand why you decided to take the title off of Mike Santana 32 days after he won it, to then foolishly and absolutely amateurishly try and play it off as if he was legit upset with the company, only to then show up in the 11th hour to tag with Steve Maclin like he was scheduled to. Is TNA interest that low that we need to take the belt off of Mike Santana to simply push some narrative that he's disgruntled with the company to generate interest? What was the point of putting the belt on him at Bound for Glory anyway? What was the point? You should have took the belt off of him there to have Frankie Kazarian the champion then, because it almost acts as if Santana never even had a reign to begin with. Who's going to remember it? Who's going to remember it? If you wanted to really make an impact, you should have given him the moment and then had Frankie Kazarian cash in that night. Give him the moment, cash in, and make Kazarian the world champion, or Nemeth the world champion. Instead, you opted to wait 32 days, have the guy hold the championship, to do what with it exactly? It's not only embarrassing for TNA, it's embarrassing for Mike Santana. Everybody looked at this guy as the guy to lead TNA into the future with their new TV deal. But you opted to go with Frankie Kazarian. And then you want to play it off as if he's disgruntled. I don't understand the logic behind that. I don't. It's absolutely foolish. And honestly, from a fan's point of view, I feel robbed that I gave you my money to see this guy win the world championship, and I put my trust in you to build the fucking show and the company around this guy, and then you opt to go and say, fuck you to everybody that gave you the $40 to watch this guy who deserves the championship, win the championship, and then take it off of him with absolutely no fanfare whatsoever. I don't know what their grand plan is. Are you running another invasion angle? Didn't you just do an invasion angle? Sloppily, by the way. No one's going to remember it. It's just random names on television to fill a 2-hour block on fucking CW every Tuesday. That's it. None of it matters. Nobody's going to remember it. It's not going to live in the annals of fucking history where people are going to go back and relive it. It's just random television, effortless television, just to get by to another week. Now you're running another invasion angle. This time led by even more nobodies. Robert Stone, Stax, Lexis King. Who gives a shit? This is what Mike Santana needed to drop the title for. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Why did they take the belt off of Mike Santana? Maybe they don't think Mike Santana is a big enough name to lead them into where they want to be in 2026 with the new TV deal looming. I have no idea. The TV deal apparently is coming to an end. Apparently, Carlos Silva wanted to get TNA somewhere between $7 and $10 million with a new TV deal. CW is being rumored. I think there was Paramount also being rumored. A&E also being rumored. Right now, the leading landing spot for TNA is AMC. They have emerged as a potential landing spot for TNA. This is coming from Sports Illustrated. AMC has been known for its premium cable TV offerings in the past, such as Breaking Bad, Mad Men, and one of my personal favorites, The Walking Dead. Breaking Bad was also one of the greatest shows ever. Though it has never aired pro wrestling at all. Back in 2014, there were brief rumors that there had been interest in the network acquiring WWE and merging with it. Those proved to be unfounded, said Sports Illustrated. While no network can avoid the trend of cord cutting, a deal with AMC would present a substantial increase in potential eyes for the TNA product. WrestleNomics and Brandon Thurston estimated that in 2023, that Access TV was in a little more than 30 million homes in the United States, while last year's industry estimates for AMC put it at approximately 60 million homes in the United States. AMC falls under the AMC Networks umbrella, which is majority owned by James Dolan's family. Dolan is also an executive chairman and CEO of Madison Square Garden Sports and Madison Square Garden Entertainment, overseeing not just the venue's operation, but also those of the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers. Among other AMC Network assets are BBC America, IFC, Sundance TV, and WE TV. WWE, which is an official partnership right now with TNA, has run the theater at Madison Square Garden once this year and will return this month for a few episodes of NXT TV. Monday Night Raw is also at Madison Square Garden on Monday, tonight, for John Cena's final ever Raw appearance. It is not known at this time whether a potential deal with AMC would include changing nights or if the company would continue to broadcast its signature program on Thursday nights, though its access to Access TV was a major part of TNA staying afloat during the COVID-19 pandemic. The company is actively seeking and has been seeking a new media rights deal to bring in new revenue for the company for some time. It was not indicated with certainty whether the programming would be fully live, but the aforementioned source said that they believed there would be more live shows from the company in a new media rights package. I do believe that they took the belt off of Mike Santana to put the belt on Frankie Kazarian and run this angle with the hopes of someone bigger taking the belt off of Frankie Kazarian going into 2026 to really give TNA that push into the new year. This is the way that I see it play out. This is strictly my opinion and what I'm thinking about. This is not anywhere near factual or confirmed or legit. I genuinely think that they will land wherever they land and that they will be airing on Wednesday nights. They will be going head-to-head with AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite right now, under the new Nielsen ratings and the way that data is given out for the TV ratings, Dynamite has fell below 500,000. They are the lowest they've ever been. They are the coldest that they've ever been. They lost more than half of their audience, and they lost more than half of their demo. And they're not coming back. Which I find funny because people were celebrating 600,000 in the rating for Blood and Guts with a 0.15 in the 18 to 49 demo. Do you realize that Blood and Guts was filling out tens of thousands of people in basketball stadiums the last couple of years? And this year, they only accumulated a little bit more than 4,000 people in a venue that holds 18,000, in a venue that they were just last February when Sting retired and filled it with 17,000 people. You're celebrating 600,000 in the ratings when Blood and Guts used to do anywhere between 900 and 950,000 with a demo in the 0.35 range, nearly coming close to Monday Night Raw. Yet this is what we're celebrating. That's what you're celebrating? Losing 60% or more of your 18 to 49 demo and celebrating 600,000, where that is the new norm where you sit, 500,000 and less. That's what we're celebrating. We're celebrating, oh my God, we got 600,000 viewers this week. Let's celebrate and pop the fucking bottles. Man, how the bar has been lowered in Jacksonville. By this, and this metric alone, I see them moving to Wednesday night. AJ Styles supposedly said that 2026 is his last year. AJ Styles paid homage to Frankie Kazarian in his match with John Cena. He's had a history with Frankie Kazarian in TNA. I've been hearing a lot of narrative that AJ Styles doesn't know if WWE is going to allow him to wrestle one last time in TNA before he retires because AJ Styles' name is synonymous with TNA. Everybody thought that him showing up and giving back to Leon Slater and putting over Leon Slater was an opening to potentially have a match between those two. I don't think that's going to be the match. I think AJ Styles and Frankie Kazarian is going to be the plan. The plan for their debut night live on Wednesday night when they go head-to-head with Dynamite and AJ Styles wins the TNA World Championship. That's what I think is happening here. Now, again, I could be wrong. Otherwise, they could have kept the title on Mike Santana. Had Mike Santana go into 2026 as the guy, the face, the guy behind the brand and the revitalization of this new TNA going into 2026. But they've opted not to do that. Of all the guys to put the World Championship on, they put it on Frankie Kazarian. There has to be a major why for Frankie Kazarian to win the championship. I think that why is AJ Styles. I think that why is AJ Styles. And again, don't take this and run with it. This is just a pro wrestling fan speaking his opinion on what he thinks is going to happen. But I genuinely do think that we may be looking at AJ Styles retiring next year with a potential winning the TNA championship one last time. On Wednesday night, head-to-head with Dynamite, TNA Live for their first live show in 2026. We will see what happens. That's just the way that I feel like it's going to work out because Mike Santana got the shaft. I genuinely think he got fucked over here for politics and greed, money. What does that say about Mike Santana and how the company looks at Mike Santana? Yeah, we like you, but you're not the guy. That's only going to make Mike Santana work harder. That's only going to make Mike Santana more hungrier. And I didn't really believe that he had a problem with TNA to begin with because Mike Santana's aspirations go well beyond TNA. This is a guy who wants to be on the WWE radar, if not already. There's already interest from WWE. Why would he risk a partnership between himself and TNA when TNA's in bed with WWE to ignore TNA's phone calls and not show up to work when he's scheduled to be there? Why would he risk that, knowing that he wants to be with the company right now that's partnering with his brand? So it didn't really pass the smell test when I seen it. And the reports came out. Sap put it down. Reporters from TNA were reaching out, trying to work this thing into a fucking legit thing. Sap says this is the first time, I think I got the tweet, I'll put it up. Sap said this is the first time that someone from a major pro wrestling company has reached out to Dirt Sheets to try and shill a storyline that is actually a fucking work. Pretending like it's a shoot. I don't get it. You went about this horribly. Horribly wrong. Reaching out to Dirt Sheets to push your narrative? How about just make some decent fucking creative where we don't have to look at this and fucking laugh and ask why and get angry? You're doing nothing but pissing off the fans more than you are embracing them and getting them excited. You think you're doing it for the fans to generate interest. Honestly, it's fucking lazy and it's quite sad that you got to resort to tactics like that. Yeah, let's reach out to the Dirt Sheets. They'll push our bullshit. No. Speaking of which, TNA also kicked out a journalist from their recent TV tapings at Full Sail University. I'll put the tweet up here as you guys see. His name was Jacob. And apparently he was there at the TV tapings for TNA, and he mentioned that he was there and got kicked out of the building. Just to let everyone know, I have been asked by TNA management to leave the show tonight. There was a belief that I was filming the show. I showed them that I was not. They returned and asked me to leave anyway. Wasn't allowed to talk to anyone further. So that's all from me tonight. This situation has now been resolved. TNA has reached out to this guy. As you see there, 1.1 million views as of 2 days ago. This went viral on social media. No wonder why they reached out to him. They kicked this guy out, made amends with him, squashed whatever was going on, and came to an understanding that they had messed up. Tony Khan was also in this guy's mention saying that, oh, you're more than welcome at Ring of Honor TV tapings and AEW TV tapings for Collision and Dynamite. Yes, Tony, yes. Present yourself as a welcoming entity when we all know that you confiscate signs on the weekly and that you are as fucking least fan-friendly as possible for the last couple of years. Tony Khan presenting himself as family-friendly, fan-friendly, and journalist welcome is fucking laughable. You only want people to shill your bullshit. If you're someone like me or someone who's critical of the product, you are ignored with your name on a list for the rest of the roster to go and attack when Tony deems it okay. Shut the fuck up. You're not welcoming. And yes, show the desperation as to why you need as many people that you can get to push your bullshit on how AEW is so great when we all know it's not. If the guy wasn't filming and posting live video on his Twitter, I don't see what the big deal is. Spoilers are going to be out there. If you don't want to see the spoilers, then here's a fucking clue, folks. Don't click on the spoilers. It is up to said outlet to tell you that there are spoilers with a big warning. Please do not proceed unless you want your pro wrestling to be spoiled. When SmackDown goes overseas and we get a tape show, I don't go on social media. I avoid the spoilers so that when I personally sit down to watch, it's fresh and new. This guy's doing his job to generate interest for the TNA product. All I could look at is this guy is doing a positive. Yet they turned it into a complete PR nightmare, and the only reason why they reached out to him was because his tweet went 1.1 million views viral. That was it. As long as he's not posting video, I don't see what the big deal is. He's generating interest. He's a fan of the product. He's there and has been loyal to the fucking brand, which right now TNA fucking needs. So what's the big deal? Oh my God, he's leaking results. Who gives a shit? He's generating interest, or at least trying to generate interest for you. Who gives a shit? Look at it as a good thing instead of as a bad thing. If he wasn't filming video and showing you the actual fucking footage before it airs on TV, then I'd say kick him out, but apparently he wasn't filming. So what exactly did he do wrong? Especially if he's done this before, many times before this. Now he wants to get kicked out. LOL TNA kicked out a journalist for supposedly filming when he was not. Took the belt off of Mike Santana after 32 days, 1 TV appearance, and 0 defenses. And put the belt on Frankie Kazarian. LOL TNA. But I do believe they end up on Wednesday. I do believe AJ Styles wins the TNA World Championship from Frankie Kazarian. And I do believe that's the reason why they took the belt off of Mike Santana, because they are, A, getting ready imminently to announce a new TV deal. Network, time, day of the week. And I do think that they're looking to make a splash. And I do think WWE is going to have a heavy presence in that, because when AEW is involved, the pettiness towards AEW is immense. And it will be something that fuels WWE to want to just do all the time. They're looking to bury AEW, and I do think that they are going to use TNA to push their narrative, because they won't do it themselves. So they'll have the small soldiers go and do it. You know, you go and do it. We'll watch from afar. And if you need our help, we'll be here. But they won't do it themselves, because it would be too blatant. So they're trying to hide it. They're trying to hide their pettiness within the TNA walls. That's what I feel they're doing. Anyway, thank you guys very much for all your support. If you did enjoy today's video, please hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think about this situation. I was kind of waffling on whether or not to make a video on this, but you know what? There really isn't anything going on, and I want to get content out there, and I want to make it a good week, so you got some content out of it, man. So please let me know what you think down below. Do you think that I'm in the ballpark? The reason why they took the belt off Santana to put it on Kazarian is because of AJ Styles? We'll see what happens. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the bell for notifications. And I will see you guys live tonight for Monday Night Raw. John Cena's last appearance for WWE on Monday night inside Madison Square Garden. Going to be a memorable night, and I'll be here to cover it all right here for you guys, right here live on YouTube on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.